Good afternoon. I'm Marcus Pask, coming to you from Austin, Texas. And welcome to Talent Unplugged Across the Pond, the show where we dive into the honest, often messy truth about hiring.
And good afternoon. I'm Megan Conlon, also coming to you from Austin, Texas. And this is the show coming to you from one city.
Yeah.
Two perspectives, though. One unfiltered conversation about how we look at the recruiting industry.
We have a professional setup.
No. We have moved up in the world.
Yeah.
This is so cool. Buddy, it's so good to see you.
I'm very happy we get to meet again.
Me too.
The last time was
2 years ago.
2 years
Almost
ago.
Exactly. It was June of 2024.
in Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Before you had even gotten married?
Before we got married, before I moved to Spain.
Yeah. So look at how much both of our lives have changed.
It's changed a lot.
So amazing. How has your trip to Austin been?
It's been good. Yeah, it's been good. It's been, I'm still trying to figure out the city. Because coming from an island in Spain where it's completely different. And then I come to large buildings and you've got wider cars and you've got you have to wait for the green man before you can cross the road. I also get fined for, what do you call it? For thingy walking.
The crosswalk.
Crosswalk, yeah. Jaywalking, that's what I was going to say. Jaywalking. I'm on all these things, again, I'm just having to get used to because I've been to the US many times, but Texas and Austin is completely new to me.
Yeah.
So,
and this is your first trip to Texas?
First trip to Texas.
And everything's bigger in Texas.
Yes.
Have you found that?
I have found it. Yes. I went yesterday. I met actually a coachee. So someone that he was probably the second person that joined or started to coach through Shaping Your Path.
Okay.
And he's ex-Expedia and he's based here in Austin. And I got to meet him in person for the first time. Oh. And I'd never actually met him previously. We were both at Expedia around the same time, but he was here and I was there. We'd never met professionally, but he found me through connections. And this was kind of nice to close the chapter on what we did 6 months ago and meet in person and have a catch up. And he showed me around and it's super nice to be able to actually have those moments with people.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
So awesome. And I know that you went to Franklin's Barbecue.
I did do Franklin's Barbecue.
That number one barbecue place in Austin. You went straight away.
I went straight away.
Basically off the plane.
I landed at close to midnight on Wednesday. I got to the hotel. I had about 5 hours sleep because I was just, jet lag sleep and
Sure. It was the right time, from a time zone perspective.
Exactly.
Everyone else was asleep.
Yeah. And I'd had 2 flights already, so I'd been traveling for 23 hours or something. And I then thought, okay, I'm by myself for the first 2 days. My friends arrive tomorrow. And I thought I'll go to Franklin's Barbecue because I thought this is the first thing you have to go and do. And I realized that you have to queue because it opens up at 11, but you get told that you should queue from at least 2 hours before.
And queue means stand in line.
Yeah, stand in line.
Yeah.
And so I was there at 8:30 in the morning, and I was number 6 in the queue or number 7. And I waited for 2.5 hours for it to open.
Yeah.
Met some people there, that were super social. I think that's already the difference. Everyone was super friendly and just welcoming and saying, hey, how are you? Where are you from? What are you doing? And it wasn't even a slow burner. It was straight into a conversation to see how you are. And that is something that's different. In Europe, we're obviously a little bit more reserved. And
very reserved.
Have a few eye contacts first before you go and speak to someone. There it was, hey, you sound British. Where are you from?
Did you get a lot of that?
Yes.
Oh, I bet. Have you heard a lot of Southern drawls yet? Austin is pretty diverse when it comes to the folks that have moved here. So I live in Texas, but I'm not a Texan. I don't have a drawl. I have a Midwestern accent. So I was curious if you heard it yet.
As much. I did go to IHOP this morning.
Nice.
IHOP, I don't know how you describe IHOP to everyone. I think of it as a diner place.
Oh, yeah.
But
an American chain diner. It is subpar food, but it is...
Yeah, it's not necessarily a upmarket establishment that you would go to, I would say.
Right.
But I was super hungry. I wanted some breakfast, and then I saw that it was close. I thought, well, I'm in the US. I've seen IHOP on films and everything, I thought I'll go there and get some breakfast. And yeah, it was nice, actually. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to immerse myself in some of the, the local things in Austin, or at least the US, barbecue food, IHOP. I'm going to hopefully go and do some line dancing or something.
Are you? Are you going to go to Broken Spoke?
I found a bar on Rainy Street that they do two-step line dancing classes for beginners or something.
You're actually going to, so you're not going to go like at night, like with a couple of beers and some buddies.
I'm going to go and
You're going to go and like learn.
I'm going to go and learn, do a little class by myself.
I love that, actually.
Yeah. And then maybe tonight after the football is on, because the US are playing today.
Yes.
We might go and do some actually in like a proper establishment.
Broken Spoke. Yeah. I'll say it here.
Okay.
Broken Spoke's where you need to go.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So it's been a good few days. And how have you? You've also been here for a few days.
I have. I've been northeast of the city, staying at a little spa and resort on Lake Travis. Just doing a little mental health check, little R&R, which was amazing.
Okay, good.
Very fortunate that I have a partner that is able to. We worked on making sure that could happen, but sometimes you just need a little reset, and I took one, and it was really great. So I worked. I would not recommend doing your reset while you're working.
Yeah.
So that's learning for next year. But I'll probably do this an annual Meg retreat.
Yeah. It's good. It's needed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also seeing this as a annual Marcus retreat.
There you go.
I'm here by myself. I'm getting some downtime, get to see you again. And these are things that are needed when you're in the work space and work environment.
Exactly. And I actually told my team yesterday during one of our team calls, I was not shy about the fact of where I was and why I needed it, and that I was going to be off today and I wouldn't be on Slack today, and that I would expect them to do the same. So I think those types of behaviors need to be emulated more and more from leaders, especially. It's one thing for us to say it.
Yeah.
It's a totally different thing for us to actually do it. So.
And how was their reception to it?
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's so lucky. That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think it kind of opens the door for them to be able to think about doing it in the future themselves as well, or at least have a conversation with you about how they're doing and
feel comfortable to say, Megan, I need a mental health day, or I'm going on a trip, so I will be working, but I'll be maybe less meeting heavy or less call heavy, whatever. Especially if you're taking a formal day off.
Yeah.
I don't want you plugged in any way, because it negates it. It really does. It can negate it in my experience.
Oh, 100%.
And I feel like Europeans are much better at this.
We're great at doing that.
You're so much better at doing this. This is a U.S. culture thing. Like, we cannot be untethered from our work.
Ours is, as soon as we put that out of office on the night, like the evening before we're going to be off, it's like, that's off. See ya. I am not putting my phone number on my email for someone to say, in case you need to get hold of me, you can. No, it's not going on. In case of emergencies, sort it out yourself. There is not going to be a reply coming back to this. No, we're pretty direct and clean with it.
Yeah.
So I think it also sometimes it can create blurred lines of where people then are thinking, well, they did say I could reach out, maybe I should, then they don't know whether it's a good thing or not. And it can be a little bit more difficult, I think.
Well, and then you're never like fully present in whatever rest you're doing, or with your family, or vacation, or doing a World Cup holiday with your buddies. Yeah. Why would you want to be tied to work? So yes, I do really appreciate that part of European culture, and wish that Americans would chill out just a little bit.
Question on the annual leave part, because a lot of companies now, US, there is this unlimited annual leave that some companies offer.
Correct.
Supposedly.
Correct. Yes, we do. We do. But
on average, how many days leave do you think people are actually taking from it?
Yeah. I think there have been a number of studies on this because unlimited or flexible PTO has, in the tech industry at least, has been very commonplace for probably 10 years, maybe a little less. And I think studies have shown that employees on average take less leave than they would if they would have accrued X amount of weeks in a given year, because they don't, it's fuzzy.
Yeah.
How much is too much to take? How much is too little to take? So I think I, on average, in the last 2 years have taken about 4 weeks total.
In the 2 years?
No.
Oh, each year? Okay, so like 20 days.
Yeah. Some folks average a bit more on the team, and then some maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
I think we have more like bank and
holidays.
Like holidays than maybe in EMEA, but I think 2 weeks or under for some folks is not uncommon. And we don't take, I think we've discussed this before, like taking any more than 2 weeks consecutively is like very frowned upon.
Yeah.
Unless you're on like literally parental leave.
Yeah. Which is amazing because, we have talked about it. Like in Europe, we want to go and travel and switch off. And so 2 weeks is a minimum for us.
Right.
Because
it takes you that long to get somewhere and get back.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to go, if you're fortunate enough, you can go to the US or go to Asia or go somewhere, you're using a day's worth of travel. You need a day to at least to get yourself set up and feeling normal. Totally. And then you have to do it on the way back. So you've got 4 days that you've used just from the travel and reset. And then you need to really like switch off, which takes, I think there's a study, it takes at least 4 to 5 days to be able to switch off from work and what you're doing. So
that doesn't
a week that you've used.
Yep.
And then you've only got a week left to actually probably enjoy and do things.
And I don't know about you, I try and be really intentional with giving myself at least a day buffer between when we come back, especially if we've traveled overseas. Yeah. To like get my things in order.
Yeah.
At home, like get the suitcase unpacked and laundry and go grocery shopping and like decompress from the trip. Otherwise, I've done this way too many times, is we'll land middle of the evening and then go straight into work.
Yeah.
And school.
Yeah.
The next day.
Yeah. My wife is always saying to me, like, why are you doing the washing as soon as we get? I'm like, because it's on my mind. Like, I need to go and get stuff done. Like you said, do the food, do the washing, like tidy everything up, get it. Because otherwise I'm thinking, if I go to work the next day, I've got all of that stuff to get done as well. And I'm Mr. Organized as well.
Yep.
So those bits are pretty.
You are.
I am very organized.
You're awfully organized, which is a great trait to have.
Not for my friends. Like when we try and organize something, they love it. But then they're also saying to me, just let things go. Like things can also be a little bit more loose. So actually this trip is super loose. The only thing I had to do was to meet my coachee and to meet you. And that was literally the only things I had planned for this whole trip.
You just wandered over to IHOP this morning. That wasn't on
the list. I don't think it was on anyone's list, but
I was going to say, I don't know if many Europeans would be like, IHOP is the top restaurant I need to check out in the United States, but that's well done.
Thanks.
So you're
immersing myself.
Yes, you are. You're loosening up. I love that. Should we maybe do a recap of some of our learnings from our past episodes?
Because we are now getting, I think we're episode 17 or 18. We've done a lot.
Close to 20.
Yeah, getting close to 20.
Yeah.
We've had 7, maybe 8 guests, I think. We've had quite a few.
Yeah.
We've touched on a lot of topics.
Yep.
And because we get to meet in person, I think I agree. I think it's nice for us to kind of do a bit of a recap. So when we first did this, our first myth-busting question was, if I give my salary expectations on the first call, I'll get rejected.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. We were still figuring out myth-busting at this point, and we were figuring out how it was going to be done.
How it was going to work.
Yeah. And I don't know if much has changed, and we'll go through some of these myth-busting ones, and I think the idea of this is, what's changed in the last 12 months since we started doing this podcast?
Yep.
Are any of these still top of mind? Has there been a shift in the market? Has there been conversations that we've had that have kind of unearthed other things?
Yep.
Salary expectations are still a huge topic.
Yep.
Like this is still something that candidates are worried about discussing. It is something that recruiters, depending on the country, and obviously there's different laws per state in the US as well, that recruiters need to get a lot of that information so that they can really see where you fit within compensation banding and salary scales.
Right.
Not a lot has changed in the market with that.
Yep. And another point that I don't know that we made on the podcast was recruiters oftentimes are measured on offer acceptance rate.
Yeah.
So obviously they want to fill the role with the right person.
Yeah.
And understanding your salary expectations from a recruiter's lens is one way to ensure that you are going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
So obviously it should matter to the candidate as well.
Yeah.
Because if it's just not going to work, if it's what we're going to offer you is not going to be attractive to you, why would you go through
exactly
7 hours of interviews?
Yeah, it's a waste of time for everyone.
Total waste of time. Yeah, so I don't think that much has changed there. Would you say give a band?
So whenever I was doing recruitment calls, when I was doing calls with candidates, I would ask them the question, first of all, what's your salary expectations? What are you thinking? And they say, well, don't feel comfortable, or, I'm not really sure. I would give usually a band of what we're looking to offer. And I would say, hey, it's between 60 and 70,000. And usually as a recruiter, that is a band that you have been told is signed off and it's okay. So you have that. And then people come back and say, oh, I'm looking closer to 80. It's like, okay, well, you know what the band is. I know what you're looking for.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to get to push it to that number.
Yep.
Go away, have a think, see if it is close to something we can agree on.
Yeah.
Because it actually isn't in our hands that early on in a conversation either.
Right.
For a recruiter, you need to go through an interview process to see how they match against other people. We'll talk about hiring bar and like where people match within that. So I think it's just super important to be quite honest and transparent in those early stages. I never had an issue with it.
Right.
And the other side is, especially we've got I was looking the other day on our data, we've got a very international audience, by the way.
Do we really?
Yeah, we have quite a lot of people from based in Asia that listen to the podcast.
Okay.
A lot in the US and obviously a lot in Europe. And I think one part of us doing the compensation part is if you're speaking to a candidate that's based in the US that wants to come to Europe, or usually in that scenario, a US compensation is usually much higher than what we can offer in Europe.
Right.
So we're trying to also set expectations to say, you're on 100,000 US. Okay, if you're going to come to Spain, it's going to be 50,000. Are you okay with it being 50,000? Usually it's no, and they want a like for like, but that's where we need to have those very honest conversations on compensation to really set expectations of what the market is looking to pay as well.
Correct. Yep.
And that's
cost of living is very different. And
cost of living is different, and bonuses aren't as equity, also another topic. So I think there's a lot of this just to really set expectations from it all.
Yeah.
And that's also why we have those conversations. So I don't think anything's changed. It's just maybe become very much more apparent for people to get as much information as possible as first before you start going through this whole process.
Yep.
I think it's something we need to continue with.
Yep. I'll get rejected. I think we sort of debunked that myth initially, and I think that holds true.
It does.
I think it's much more nuanced than just straight, I'll get rejected.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then our next myth was with the lovely Sierra Hedrich.
And our first guest.
Yes. Does every hire need to be a bar raiser? And we were split a little bit on this one.
Yeah.
How do we feel?
For me, not every hire needs to be a bar raiser, but you do need to understand what they're coming into and where they match against the current team setup.
Correct.
In terms of skills, experience, compensation comes into that as well. So I don't think every hire needs to be. I think there is a part of this where if you're in a startup, or scale up, there's a lot more push towards wanting to level up each time and get more and more experience coming through.
Yep.
So I don't know if it needs to be a bar raiser, but maybe what it is like adding to the bar, like adding to experience within the company, within the team.
Yep.
Rather than having to raise it, it's like, what can we add that is different from what we already have?
Yep.
That would be my more take on it.
Couldn't agree more. And I think that we also touched on with Sierra the importance of defining the bar in the first place.
Yeah.
I think that's where potentially a lot of companies are getting it wrong, especially earlier stage, less mature talent teams. Will hear, well, give me a bar raiser. Well, what does that actually mean to you? So I also agree. I think it needs to be evaluation and criteria based on what the team needs at that time.
Yeah.
And it could be that, you're opening the doors to your first startup. This is your first 5 engineer hires.
Yeah.
They probably need to be pretty darn great.
Yeah.
Or the product is not going to be built.
Yeah.
But if you're a 5,000 person Series D pre-IPO, probably not every single hire needs to be the rock star.
No. And also the reason for this is, you see, also on top of like defining it, it's just really hard to keep on finding the next level up.
Sure.
Because I mean, it just takes a lot longer. Like if you keep on wanting that, and then you're then having to reach out to those people that they also might not be interested.
Oh yeah.
And
we run into that. I won't say all the time. We're actually getting much better. We're attracting some really great talent right now. But that has to be a consideration. What is the talent pool for what we can actually attract?
Yeah. And compensation comes into it again.
Yep.
Because if you keep on going bar raiser, your compensation is probably going to keep on getting higher. Yep. And then it means suddenly you're going to have a very big disparity. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
God, my English is getting way better doing these podcasts with you. I listen to you, how you use your vocab, and now I'm like starting to add on to mine as we go through this.
You do know that English came from
not my English. I don't know where my English came from, but it wasn't taught.
So funny. Hilarious.
But I think it will be that you will get to a point where 6 months down the line, you have someone that you hired 6 months ago that could be on 10%, 20% less than someone you hire 6 months later, because you're looking at that bar raiser, and then it starts to become a problem as well. So I think this bar raiser, you do have to make sure you're doing it right.
Yep. All right. My cover letter is just as important as my CV. I feel like we need to touch on this very little. Cover letter is dead. R.I.P.
Thanks. Don't come back. The only place that we said cover letters could be useful was early talent, early roles. If you're going for like an internship or something. But even then, I don't know how much they're being read.
And again, tech industry.
Yeah.
We are being very specific to the tech industry. If we're talking maybe medical, maybe attorney, maybe law school, I can imagine a cover letter of some sort as part of a formal application may be applicable in other industries.
Yeah.
It is not applicable in the tech industry.
Or if you go into like maybe a mom and dad shop in your local town.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, thanks, for the mom and dad shops. But that might be somewhere because they want to know the person as opposed to, a very small CV. Yep. That might help. But the rest, not in the tech industry.
Not in the tech industry. They are not read.
No.
Because we've also debunked that recruiters spend any more than like 5 seconds reading a resume. So, okay. The next one was job boards are dead.
This was with James, I think we did this one with. Yeah. Job boards are dead. I mean, job boards are useful for certain industries.
Sure.
Like Indeed, they're here now. They're here in Austin.
Yeah.
I started seeing I was watching the football, and I started seeing ads, and it's the first ad I've ever seen for Indeed, because in Europe there are no ads on Indeed. Like, Indeed in Europe is more like it scrapes jobs. So what I mean by that is like it will take jobs from other places like LinkedIn and put it onto there for them to apply for.
Sure.
But we don't see adverts for it really. Whereas here I saw at least 3 straight away, and you could see through the adverts that it was more tailored towards non-tech industry jobs.
Typically, yes.
Yeah.
I have found that too.
And so I think for that element, yes. For tech industry, LinkedIn is pretty much your bread and butter for a lot of job boards.
Yeah, and actually now that I think about it, it feels like many moons ago, but I was working for hospitality industry it's great.
Yeah.
Indeed is great for
exactly
hospitality jobs.
Yeah.
So
there's a ton of them, and it does it well, and it's really easy to use and is up to date. But yeah, I would not be using LinkedIn to go and find a non-tech.
Well, I think maybe we have a slightly spicy or diverse take, because we do post jobs on Indeed and Welcome to the Jungle and Handshake and a couple of other. And you
get people?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we hire them.
That's great.
Yeah. It's not just careers page. It's not just LinkedIn Wrap.
That's good.
So I know that there are some of those job boards that they're just scraping. Yeah. Maybe we don't have like a paid page.
Yeah.
And then there are others that we do have a paid page that
and
we keep up. Oh, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, maybe this is just also industry. I've been in tech too long.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed it be any different, but it's good that it's happening with other ones.
From our sourced hires, we definitely have made some hires from external job boards that aren't just our careers page. So, but be discerning.
Yeah.
Be discerning. There are trap job boards too. Cool.
Holiday season is coming. And this was when we did this around Christmas.
Yes.
And it's a waste of time applying for roles. I mean, we touched on this also around the summer holidays were coming up. We did this recently. It's not a waste of time for applying for jobs. It's just that hiring managers, recruiters, they will be on leave. Things will slow down slightly. But there are, especially this part of the period, there's still roles that need to get hired. Like there are targets for companies that need to be met, either sales revenue targets or engineering targets, and they need people through the door to get to be successful.
Yep.
So there's still a big push. I would just say holiday season, it slows down, and it might mean your process gets delayed by a few days, maybe a few weeks.
Yeah, a week sometimes.
But it's not going to stop. It's not a waste of time. Someone is still going to be reviewing it. It's just making sure that you're applying in the right way still.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of this comes down to, if you're applying just again through LinkedIn job boards, it's going to slow down a little bit. You want to go and build the connections like we talked about in the past, but holiday seasons won't impact it as much.
Mm-hmm.
Just a slight delay.
Yep. We'll get plenty of offers around the holidays. Great.
Recruiters are scared to give feedback after interviews. I think this was one that my wife posed to us.
Yes, I think so too. And I actually don't remember what we said, but I have a feeling.
Go for it.
About it now. It's uncomfortable.
Yes.
Scared. In terms of like, at least in the United States, like EEOC, our Equal Opportunity Coalition, is really important, and from time to time folks can take feedback as being discriminatory. So I know that there are companies that actually will not allow recruiters to give feedback. That's not my operating rhythm.
No.
We give feedback to every candidate that moves past the recruiter screen.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be deep, in-depth feedback.
No.
But you'll at least know why we're not moving forward. And I think that's better than a lot of companies are doing right now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say scared. It's we're human beings, and we're giving you rejection.
Yep.
It's like going on a first or second date and saying, I don't want to date you anymore.
Yeah.
That's uncomfortable for both parties.
Yeah.
So
and recruiters are invested in candidates. You know, we invested in these relationships that can be lasting a couple of months. And so, you know, when you're sending these updates, you're excited for them.
Yep.
You feel like there is a match, but you will also feel like there's a match with other people during the process. Like you said, it's like dating. It's like you're figuring out who is the best match for you and for the company in this, and for the role. And so it is uncomfortable, but I think good recruiters are able to still have the emotional intelligence to really give it in the right way. And it's like, you know, we went through this process. It's similar like dating. Like, went through this process together. We hope for a better outcome. Unfortunately, they've gone with someone else. It is. Is
that how you broke up with people?
I just ghosted
as a young lad. No.
I was the worst at, that's a different podcast. Yeah. I got better through the years as my recruitment got better. But honestly, yeah, I do think we're not scared about doing it. It's just not nice to do.
Yeah.
And I think
comfy.
The least we can do as a professional in this industry is give the courtesy of how much time and effort they've invested to give them a phone call to tell them they've not been successful and to try and give them as much feedback. I think the only caveat with all of this is we are very much reliant on people giving us the feedback as to why someone's not been successful. And sometimes we don't always have that feedback. So it may be that we're rejecting a candidate based on just knowing they're not going to move forward, and that we'll try and get them more detailed feedback later if it's not been possible.
Yep.
And I think that's where people get frustrated, which I completely understand.
Yep.
And it's not like we're trying to shift the blame. We're just trying to set expectations that if we don't have it, then there's not a lot we can do.
Right. Yep.
And that's hard.
Agreed.
Yeah.
We must hire from top tier companies to ensure high quality.
What do you think?
Trying to remember what we said. But no, the answer is no.
Yeah, the answer is no.
Yeah. And that answer is no.
Yeah.
And I hope that's what we said. Because it can be a leading indicator.
For sure.
Of someone's, what we say a lot at MITRE is, do they know what great looks like?
Yeah.
Do they know how to work in our type of environment? Yeah. Do they know how to produce X projects within X speed, within X amount of ambiguity?
Uh-huh.
But that is not only a top 20 list of companies.
No, I agree. I think, if anything, over my years, I've tended to veer away from supposed top tier companies.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like there are a list of 5 to 10 companies that people go, oh, you should hire from them because, world renowned, everyone knows their names.
Yep.
If anything, I've always been a little bit biased from it, but I'm shifting away from that to say, well, actually, if you're in a 30,000 organization, how much are you owning? How much are you doing?
That's exactly. Yep.
You might be doing a very small part of it, but you have a job title that says you do much bigger.
Sure.
So for me, it's always a bit of a shift. So I completely disagree that we have to hire from them. Next one we did with Devi, I remember.
Yes.
You should never reach out directly to the hiring manager. I mean, I would say with this, you 100% you can reach out to the hiring manager, but just don't focus just on the hiring manager. Focus on reaching out to connections, ex-colleagues, people that you have associations with, whether it's, and I was speaking to my my coachee yesterday, he's ex-military, and one thing that's been really successful for him is actually speaking to ex-military folk that work at companies he wants to work for.
Sure.
There's like this bond that they have of, okay, you're ex-Navy or something. Yeah, of course, I'll put in a referral for you and I'll help you out with that. And I think instead of it just being hiring managers, you should be reaching out to anyone you possibly can, because as anything we've discussed over the last 18 episodes of doing this podcasting is connecting and networking is number one. And we will reiterate it as much as we possibly can.
Yes.
Because it's the only way right now, not the only way, it's the best opportunity for you to be successful in this market.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Nothing else to add there.
Open to work banners makes you look desperate. I remember we were worried about doing this as our myth busting.
Yes. Because I think we have an unfortunate take on this one.
Yes.
My opinion has not changed, which is I would steer away from broadcasting that you are not working.
Yeah.
Because there is inherent bias in the market right now with hiring managers, with leaders, with some recruiters, that if you are not working, if you're part of a layoff, if maybe you've been terminated, it wasn't the right fit, that you may not also be a right fit for us.
Yeah.
So you want what you can't have.
Yeah.
Is the dating analogy, I suppose. So I don't recommend. Has your opinion changed?
It's not shifted.
Okay.
I think the one thing people can do, instead of having it as your banner as open to work, I don't know if we talked about this, having it in your settings of your profile that you're open to work, because it means that a recruiter in the back end of LinkedIn will be able to see that, and we will add filters on to say, I'm looking at a profile, I'm using a search string, I built up, 500 candidates. I will click on one of the drop downs, the filters, which says open to new opportunities, because that might bring that 500 person search down to 60. And then I can look at those 60 and go, okay, these people are active, they're looking, and I will reach out to those because they might have a more interest in the company or what I'm posing to them. So you don't need to even have the banner, because as long as you have it in the back end, people will potentially find you.
Be able to find you.
I think that is a good workaround from necessarily having it front and center on your profile.
It doesn't necessarily expedite your ability to get to job, which is the point of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it does that.
No, and that's why I think what we discussed, like, we want it to help you, but it probably does the opposite.
Yep.
And that's difficult.
It is. Recruiters only care about commission.
I wish I got commission in the last 15 years. I think we said this. Commission is mainly agency based.
Mm-hmm.
There are opportunities in a lot of jobs where you can get a end of year bonus, but that bonus is reliant on way more than just hiring a person. For hours, we've talked about it. How long does the process take? Where have they come from? What is the diversity of the pool that you're doing? Where are you moving the needle with other parts of the business? How are you working with your stakeholders? So it's not just on hiring is where your bonuses can come from, but commission-wise, I don't know of many, if any, recruitment professionals that are outside of agencies that get a commission.
Correct.
I've not heard of it.
And I wouldn't say that agency recruiters only care about commission. There's still a relationship building with candidates and with customers that they care about. It is certainly more of a
incentive.
Yeah. But for in-house specifically, we do care about actually building for the company that we're working for. So definitely not for in-house recruiters.
No. And for the agency recruiters, like I've been there, your base salary can be extremely low. So you need
to hire.
Commission, you need the hire so that you can get to a good living wage. So that is also why it can be more of feel like a shift that they're focusing more on just the commission, because yes, that will increase what they're able to earn from what can be a very low basic salary.
Yes. Yep. Totally.
AI will replace recruiters.
Dun, dun, dun. No, it's not happening. It's not happening.
No.
It will make our jobs much more efficient.
Yes.
I think is what we said. There may be less of us in the market. I think that's a very real possibility. We'll hire less of us because we'll be able to do more with less, which is a very unfortunate, it's double-edged sword, because my team is getting a lot more done in less time and more efficiently and more creatively.
Yeah.
But that may mean I don't have to hire the next 2 heads.
Yeah.
So it won't replace us, though, I don't think.
No, and there's still going to be lots of recruitment roles that come up. There's still lots of new companies that will be created, that will grow, that will need people. But yeah, it is shifting. I think the big thing that's changing is, and we talked about this with Sierra, who told us about what fractional recruitment was, also with Chris, one of our guests, talking about fractional work. I think that's becoming more of a play in contracting, where people are maybe not full-time recruiters, but they're doing 1, 2, 3 days a week instead of full-time.
Sure.
Companies will hire people on that side, but I don't think AI is going to replace us. And that I watched something, I think it was on LinkedIn the other day, and it was a percentage of how many people really do not want to have a AI interview as the first stage. And it was
interesting,
staggeringly high.
Yeah.
The amount of people that say, I'm not interested in having that. I want to speak to an actual person.
I think it will be on that topic. I think what will be interesting is Gen Z continues to enter the workforce. Yeah. I think that we might see a shift.
Possibly.
Because the data that I have read or the feedback that I have heard, is that Gen Z is much more open
Mm-hmm.
to not speaking to a human on the first call, which is indicative of the era that they grew up in.
Yeah.
But anyone else would prefer to speak with a human. I would.
Oh, 100%.
I would.
I think I talked about this. I tested this. I applied for a job because they specifically said that you would speak to an AI recruiter first. I wanted to see what that experience was like.
How was the experience?
Well, it is very different because they would, they'd give you all the preparation. They'd ask you a question and I gave my answer. And it was for a job that I knew I have experience in. It was like a recruitment manager role. And the reply back each time was, that's a fantastic answer. Thank you for talking about X, Y, and Z. Okay, the next question. And there was no probing. There's no additional questions coming back to you. And I think the difference is that a good recruiter that is a person, a human being at the end of it, is able to ask follow-up questions, dive deeper, not just take it on face value. And the other aspect is I got told that once I'd finished that AI interview, that video would then be sent to a recruiter to watch. So I'm thinking, where's the time save? Because now the recruiter has to go and watch what's been done. And what if they then want to go and ask questions? I've got to then do another call with the recruiter to do the follow-up. So I didn't see the benefit of time and anything that was coming from it. It was a very interesting experience. It actually flowed very well. But like I said, I think the follow-up parts is the missing factor to it.
Those types of software, though, will get better.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time.
For now, I just want us recruiters to be left alone.
Just see what's learned. Nobody uses reference checks.
Yes. Who did we do this with? This was with... Was it just us?
I think this one was
just us. Yeah. This is where we talked about back channels.
Yes.
Yeah.
The dreaded.
Yeah, the back channels.
Back channel.
And back channels, for anyone that didn't listen, go and listen to it because it is very important, is when companies or hiring managers will reach out to a candidate's current company behind...
Not necessarily, but previous, but potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Behind their back, in essence, without them knowing, in truth. Back channel.
Yeah.
And ask someone in their network, so the hiring manager network or someone from the company's network, they'll ask them, what do you know about this person? Or could you recommend this person? Which is just legally so many things wrong with it too.
Yeah, and just riddled with bias is what we've said. There have been, we did say that there have maybe been one or two instances where we got a back channel.
Yeah.
That was a data point that allowed us to make a clear-eyed decision to not move forward.
Yeah.
But ideally reference checks are used for that.
Yes.
And reference checks, if I recall correctly, we talked about reference checks can't just be the recruiter going through a checklist of questions and ding, ding, ding. Okay.
Yeah.
They passed this reference check. It needs to be, in my opinion, the hiring manager making the call and asking probing questions in order for a reference check to actually be a significant tool in the evaluation process. Otherwise, they are just...
Yeah, otherwise a tick box exercise that recruiters want to get through so they can get the offer out and get things moving.
Exactly.
And it feels like just a waste to get it done.
Exactly.
Which is a shame because, like I said, reference checks, I've had them in the past where they've come back and we've unearthed something that has gone, okay, this is actually, not a good hire for us. So they are useful if they're done in the right way.
Correct. Agreed.
Culture fit is just a nice way of saying bias. Now, we've not gone live with this one yet because the next three, we actually have guests.
Yes.
We did a few guests that came and spoke to us. We've had Mary, Neil, and Hallie.
Yeah.
They will be posted in the next few weeks. But culture fit is just a nice way of saying bias.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts? Or should we wait and let everyone listen to the episodes?
We can put this out after.
A little bit of nuggets, that's true, yeah.
Culture fit is a nice way of saying bias. Could, yeah. I think that's where we landed. It could if we're not careful.
Yeah.
You have to be really intentional about defining what culture fit or culture add or more specifically values aligned means to your company, how you are evaluating for it in your interview process. And then Mary was so great about walking through unconscious bias training, making sure that your interview panel is checking their bias at the door when they can, or recruiters and debriefs are really skilled at ensuring that the feedback that is coming back is not biased. So yes, there is the pitfall for sure that this is, I just want to hire more sales reps that we want to all go out and have a beer.
Yeah.
I think is like the quintessential example, but that is not the way to build a long lasting company that can multiply from 10 to 2,000.
No. And we touched on it, and you can listen to it in the podcast when it goes live, about where we should be assessing culture. Like, should it be one interview? Should it be part of the whole process? But I'm not going to give the answer, so you're going to have to listen to the podcast.
You'll have to listen, yes.
Internal candidates should always get the first refusal.
And we did this with Neil.
With Neil, correct.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should be looking at your internal network, is what I remember us talking about, that if you're going through a RIF, then 100% there should be first refusal for anyone that's internal candidates. They should be able to be looked at. I think before you even go out to market with a job, before you advertise a job externally, you should look at what the internal market is.
Your internal
talent is.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't necessarily be first refusal, because they might not be equipped with the experience on the right fit, but you should be understanding where the strengths are of your internal market. Yep. That's where I think I land on it, at least.
Yeah, I think that was in a nutshell what Neil shared, and I agree with that.
And it was a great podcast actually with Mary, Neil, and Hallie that we've got coming up. But the insights from Mary, ex-Uber, had been there for a number of years, had changed roles from TA to L&D, was super interesting. And then Neil was head of TA at Roku, was head of TA at, my memory is going to, Enron, and a few others, like such experience. And I think with both of those, and then Hallie, we could have chatted for hours. Yeah, there was some absolute nuggets that came out of that with both of them. And we finally ended with Hallie. She was our latest guest.
She was. And you need direct industry experience to get hired at a cool brand like On.
Like On, where she is.
On Cloud, and her answer was no, you don't. I think it stems back to, do you need all hires must be from top tier companies to ensure high quality?
Yeah.
So do you need to have experience at Nike or Adidas to work at On?
Yeah.
It helps, but it's not necessary.
No. And do you feel with MITRE, like, do you look at other brands that are similar, or do you keep it pretty open as well?
Yeah, like my recruiters, like many teams, have like their sourcing list of maybe the top 20 or 30 companies that we know have a similar customer to us, a similar sales motion, or building similar products, or maybe just a hair ahead of us. So if we hire someone from there, they may be able to get us to the next stage of company. But we are not handcuffed to just that list of 30 companies. And in fact, some of our most exciting hires that we've made as of late have been at companies that I had to Google what they were before reaching out.
Yeah.
So no, and Hallie did debunk that as well.
And I think that's also important. You just touched on it there. You have this list of companies. There are new companies all the time. There are other ones. And it's really important for TA professionals to stay on top of it and not just go by the trusted names that you've known for the last few years or when you first joined. Continue to think and research what else is out there. And that what makes a really good TA team in general.
Yeah. Got to have a pulse on the market. So important.
We've done a lot of myth busting.
We have.
Which is really, and I think we talked about this, Devi was one of our first guests. She was the one that kind of gave the idea of doing myth busting. She was the one that I'd coached previously and said, I'd had conversations with her and she was like, this is really important information that people need to know, like candidates, recruiters, what's going out there. And the amount of messages I've had from people that I found this super useful, whether it is just a message on LinkedIn or someone that sent me an email or friends of someone that said, by the way, that thing around, open to work banners, it really got me thinking. And I think I'm really just happy that we're able to share all of this to people for free and be like, hey, this is information that we have experience of for the last 20 years and we're trying to stay on top of it and give you some insights that might help you.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Been very rewarding. And it's the guests that we've had on have just been so knowledgeable. Yeah. It's been, I get to hang out with you at least once every other week, which is,
it's been super nice.
What a gift.
But we do have a new myth busting.
We do.
For today. It's kind of blended into one, but I'm going to stick with the first part, which is headcount planning should be owned by finance.
Oh.
And for anyone headcount planning that hasn't listened to us in the past, this is where we really think about planning headcount, like how big the organization will be in a year's time, how big certain teams will be during that year, what type of talent do we need to hire, at what level, what location, what job title. So it's all about planning for that next year and coming up with a strategy of how we're going to get there so that we're not just being very reactive, but we're being proactive in what we want to hire for the next 12 months. That is the idea. And historically, in a lot of companies, finance has owned this.
Yes. So here's my answer. Yes, it should be owned by finance. They hold the purse strings, and headcount is a cost center.
Yes.
But where I think companies get it really wrong is not having a proper RACI set up. So who's responsible, who's accountable, who's consulted, who's informed.
Yep.
And a lot of times recruiting is the very last person informed.
If informed at all.
If informed.
Until we get started.
So I think what we're getting at is org leaders, people team, and talent, if they're in the same umbrella, and finance should be hacking this out together. And I'll give a great example since we just finished this. My head of finance partner and I just completed what we call our quarterly pull-ups.
Okay.
And so about approximately 3 weeks before the end of the quarter, we send out a wish list template to our VPs and executives and asking them if there's any net new headcounts that they're going to make a business case for.
Yep.
And my head of finance and I will hold meetings and say, here's what the headcount was for this quarter. Here's what was attained. Here's what's still forecasted to close on time.
Yeah.
Here's what will likely roll over. And then what do you think you need next?
Yeah.
So that it gives me at least a little bit of a head start for planning.
Yeah.
But also keeps us all informed and like forces recruiting to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And then ideally, when we start actually doing annual headcount planning for the next fiscal year, we'll also be at the table. I think it's a really important exercise.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it shocks me how we're not at the table with so many of these conversations. I remember, previous companies where I've worked that we would get, and give an example, that say you're doing headcount planning or finance or operations, whatever it is, they're getting to December and they're like, okay, we need this ready by January because we need to start hiring in January. They won't finish it until mid-January, sometimes February. And then we'll get it mid-February and get told that these are your numbers that you need to hire for Q1, which started on January 1st.
So we're already behind.
We're already 6 weeks behind.
Yep.
And then we have to go and plan. So we're already usually a quarter behind.
Yes.
And it usually falls on us very quickly to get told, why are you so far behind?
Yes. And in Europe, notice periods are significantly longer than in the States. Like we could potentially turn someone around in 2 weeks and get them to start. It does not happen that way in Europe. So yes, Europe, in Germany in particular, if you haven't kicked off a role a quarter in advance, more.
Yeah, you need 2 quarters.
Yeah, then you're not hiring it on time. Yeah, I totally agree. So make sure that your recruiting partners are at the table.
Yes.
We can help forecast time to fills, time to starts, which has both annual recurring revenue implications. It has product ship implications. It also helps me as a talent leader know how much capacity I need for the year. It has taken me almost a quarter to hire my next technical recruiter because I also hold a high bar. So, but we are planning in advance of needing additional bandwidth that I already know is coming. Because we're planning it ahead of time. So, I can't implore heads of finance and executives enough to include. At least if you're really small, at least your people business partner or your talent partner, but definitely your head of recruiting.
I was going to say that I think the people partners are also important in this because they'll be, and then looping in heads of other departments, like other not just execs, but make sure that they speak to the levels below them to say who's going to be up for a promotion in the next 6 months, because that will impact. If they get a promotion, do you need someone again? Do you need a lower level? And all of these things start changing throughout the year. So it's also thinking about what comes through there. So there needs to be a good amount of people in these conversations. Not from the beginning. Doesn't have to be the first conversation where you're thinking about budget as such, but it's like very early on, there needs to be some part of this.
And you just hit on something as well that isn't always necessarily a talent acquisition function, but it's definitely a people function. Org design. Is someone asking for 3 levels too high that is going to bloat the function, and then they actually need individual contributors to actually roll up underneath them. So the project itself is not going to get done because we hired too senior. And that's going to have cost implications. Who should report to whom in the scope of the role that the hiring manager or the org leader is actually looking for? Those are conversations that we're actively having right now. So,
and you linked on something earlier, like that you should, people think that headcount planning is happening just once a year, but you've already touched about it. You know, you're doing this every quarter with your head of finance. And I think that's super important that you're doing this and anyone else is doing this with TA, and that you're really assessing where are we right now? What does it look like for the future? And revisiting it, because there is always so much focus at the beginning of the year or right at the end of the year saying, okay, headcount planning, let's get us ready. And then it feels like companies drift off for like 6 months and then suddenly hit the panic button in Q3 and say, oh, we're not going to hit our targets now. What do we do? So as long as you're having those constant conversations, which you're doing, it's going to be super important. So don't just have it once a year.
And we're not out of the woods with companies overhiring, bloating their teams. You can catch those things, not every time, but you can catch those things if you're doing pull-ups more consistently than letting it go 6 to 9 months. Oops, the market changed and we overhired in implementation, or we overhired in engineering, and now we need to reduce. And do a restructure.
A restructure. Restructuring is still happening these days with a lot of companies.
Restructure.
And it's because these conversations are not happening. And if they're happening too late. And this is where people think that talent acquisition is just about hiring, like just about bringing people in. It's like, no, there's so much more that we do with these roles that can help organizations run better. But we're just not necessarily always thought of as that value add, which is a shame. But we're getting there. And it feels like it's working at MITRE. And that's a nice thing to be able to be a part of as well.
And hopefully my team feels like they're also strategic business partners, which is, even at a company our size, is really important muscle to flex. So, but big one. So I didn't debunk this myth. I do think it still should be owned by finance, but there should be some very specific consulted parties, and recruiting should be one of those.
100%. That's it, I think.
Oh my gosh.
We did our first in-person podcast.
I remember us talking about it in like November.
At least 6 months ago, when we found out that the World Cup was going to be, where England were going to be here and it would be hosted.
And we made it happen. This has been so This has been so cool.
Yes.
To do.
It's really nice to do in person. Like this has been in the waiting for us for a while.
Yeah.
And it feels good. We should get this set up more often. I'm sweet to my wife and get this set up.
This is a wonderful setup. We'll in the show notes we'll share a link of this studio. I don't want to wrap up, but we should. That's it for this episode of Talent Unplugged Across the Pond. We hope you've enjoyed listening, and we look forward to more stories, myth busting, and everything in between. So goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.